Mm, 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 mm. Well, I'll be on time tonight. I'm early, man. What you talking about? I'm early. I'm black. Black people always early. What's wrong with y'all, man? You know that? You know how the stereotype is. Black people always on time. Have to live up to the stereotype, man. Yeah. Uh, I gotta live up to the stereotype. Black people always being on time. Everybody hit that like button, man. Smash that like. Support the channel, man. Sponsor the show. You worried about if I'm on time? Why don't you hit that Cash App with a PayPal? Uh, support the channel. We in this bitch. We in here. You hear me? This one, this. I think we got a great show tonight, man. I really do. I think we got a great show tonight, man. I think we got a great show tonight, man. I think we got a great show tonight, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. I think we got a great show tonight, man. I think we got a great show tonight, man. I think we got a great show tonight. How's everybody doing tonight, man? Shout out to Superstar, man. He said, you hear Ryan Clark say LeBron has to let his son be a man. Yeah, that's one thing I agree with Ryan Clark. I rarely agree with Ryan Clark, but I agree with Ryan Clark when he said that, man. That shit was embarrassing, man. Cause LeBron, man, I get LeBron wanting to step to the big fish. He stepped to the big fish, Stephen A. Instead of stepping to all the little fish that been saying the same thing. I get LeBron like, look, let me just step to the big fish, make an example out of him. But at the same time, it's like, yo, you got him in the league, man. Now we can't even talk shit about him when he sucks. He in the league, man. You got your boy in the league, man. Your son sucks. We praise you because you're great. Your son sucks, and we talk about him because he sucks. It's like, come on. But LeBron got a lot of power, man. Especially with in media, so he can control that narrative, man. Shout out to LeBron though, man. Good dad, good friend. I ain't got nothing personal against LeBron. We politically not aligned, but oh well. Shut up, I can cook in the building with her crazy ass. She says hello. Shout out to Shut Up, I Can Cook, man.
New details about the shooting at a Forest Hill car wash that killed a father and his 5-year-old daughter. Both suspects are in custody for capital murder after that shooting 1 week ago today. Fox 4's Dion Englund is live with what those court documents reveal. Dion?
Other Hannah, disturbing details from court documents today, yet still no clear motive has been laid out. Adonis Robinson, arrested in Polk County on Thursday, is now in the Tarrant County Jail. On Friday, 21-year-old Jacoby Russell was also booked into the jail. Both men are facing capital murder charges in the Forest Hill car wash deaths of rap artist Ronnie Sibley and his 5-year-old daughter Armani. Court documents in the case include an arrest affidavit for Robinson. While it does not reflect a motive in the ambush killing, it does include details that played out a week ago. It indicates Sibley was vacuuming his car when two men got out of a 2016 white Kia Rio. It states the suspects were armed with an assault-style rifle and handguns. Investigators describe how they approached Sibley and immediately opened fire, and they continued to fire and chase Sibley as he tried to run and get away. The document reveals Sibley's 5-year-old daughter, while in the front passenger seat of his vehicle, was struck and killed by those flying bullets. Further information indicates Fort Worth police located the white Kia Rio at an apartment complex, and surveillance video obtained shows two men dressed identical to the suspects arriving a few minutes after the fatal shooting. They park the car, get out, and toss objects into a grassy field before going into an apartment. It was Robinson's girlfriend, according to the affidavit, who identified him. She was seen driving away in the vehicle. Police stopped her and brought her in for questioning, where she told investigators Robinson borrowed the car after dropping her off at work, then called her later, provided the location.
This nigga did the hit in his baby mother car while she was at work. That's the most nigga thing ever in the history of niggas. To do a fucking hit in your baby mother car while she at work. You gotta be a nigga from the fucking hood to understand how niggified that is. That's the most nigga thing that ever happened in the nigga universe. God damn. Jesus Christ. Shout out to Superstar, man. Says he said Clark should take his own advice. Facts. Facts. Ryan Clark do be tripping about his son. His son might be a good football player. We'll see. I think he's going to get drafted this year.
Robinson's girlfriend, according to the affidavit, who identified him. She was seen driving away in the vehicle. Police stopped her and brought her in for questioning. She told investigators Robinson borrowed the car after dropping her off at work, then called her later, provided the location of the vehicle, and told her to come pick the vehicle up because something had happened. Police say Robinson's Texas identification card was located inside the
Nigga left his ID. Left his ID inside, man. And this is what we all BLM'd out, and this is what we changed all the laws for. We changed all the laws to keep these niggas out of jail. Ain't that a bitch? Changed all the fucking laws to keep these niggas out of jail. And he still went to jail.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Dorn.
And I'm Lindsey Brown. We're starting with the story you're seeing first on 5. The Minneapolis Police Department has changed how much it shares publicly when collecting use of force records.
In this age of court-ordered police reform, independent analysts tell our Renee Cooper the update clouds transparency and MPD's data can't be trusted as reliable.
They're making it as difficult as possible through the kind of false guise of transparency.
Sam Gould and statistics professor Claire Kelling.
It's about transparency. It's about access.
Has spent a couple of years taking MPD's lengthy use of force list and putting it into context.
First of all, it's big.
They've mapped out where force incidents are concentrated and highlighted things like how often the initial problem was reported by 911 or a patrol officer.
To understand where are police being summoned versus where are they patrolling and
Bitch, around the black communities, Somalian communities, wherever niggas is at. You dumb bitch. How the fuck don't you know that, you stupid bitch? How does this bitch not know that? Where we trying to see where the police are being summoned and called. Where the fucking niggers are at. That's where they're being called to. You dumb bitch.
By 911 or a patrol officer.
to understand where are police being summoned versus where are they patrolling and surveilling.
And what we've seen predominantly is that these are officer-initiated incidents.
That doesn't hold for all use of force incidents, but when it is a suspicious person listed as the problem, then most of them definitely were not initiated by a 911 call.
Yeah, because the police can see it with their own eye. Yo, she got a degree and she's getting paid money for this. This is the shit that Doge need. Doge need to start going after this shit. These people sit around and they're supposed to be doing work and shit. Motherfucker, the cops are in black neighborhoods because that's where all the crime is at. They have the most problems, the most use of force with black suspects because those are the people that commit the most crime. And those are the people that resist the most. Like, we already know that. What are you studying? What are you trying to find? You trying to find like where the cops are wrong and shit and where the blacks is innocent and shit. Well, this ain't the case with it. Like if you want to give black people credit for stuff, yeah, there's plenty of stuff black people can get credit for. This ain't it.
But that work got flipped on its head when MPD changed how much information they share publicly online about use of force incidents.
If we can't count on the
Oh my God, look at this fucking human. It's almost like somebody took a jar of yogurt. Somebody took a container of yogurt and animated it. He's the human embodiment of a container of cottage cheese. He's running around here complaining that cops are spending too much time addressing the black thugs in his community. He's whining about that. This guy's complaint is that, hey, cops, stop spending so much time addressing the black criminals in my city. This guy. Shut Up I Can Cook says, "Sir, LOL, why am I crazy? You know why you crazy. I should let you call in, man. We should call in today. Shut Up I Can Cook, but I'm not gonna keep you on. I ain't got time for bullshit. I'll let you stay on for a few minutes, man. Call in and let everybody see how crazy you is." When I drop the link. Shout out to Run Daz, man. Run Daz said, "Remember for 12 months, audio is whack. My audio is whack. What's wrong with my audio? Press 1 if the audio is good. Press 1 if my audio is good. I don't know. Somebody said my audio is bad. It's fucked up. The videos are double sound. Let me see something, man. Let me see something. Oh, you know why? You know why? You know why? I got it on the wrong browser. Thank you for telling me that. Y'all are correct. Y'all are correct this time. This is the one time you were right. Here we go. All right, I'm back. I'm back in effect with a mask and the tech. Yeah, man. Let me go back to that video, man. Let me go back to this video. Here we go.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Dorn.
And I'm Lindsay Brown. We're starting with a story you're seeing first on 5. The Minneapolis Police Department has changed how much it shares publicly when collecting use of force records.
In this age of court-ordered police reform, independent analysts tell our Renee Cooper the update clouds transparency and MPD's data can't be trusted as reliable.
They're making it as difficult as possible through the kind of false guise of transparency.
Sam Gould and statistics professor Claire Kelling.
It's about transparency. It's about access.
Has spent a couple of years taking MPD's lengthy use of force list and putting it into context.
First of all, it's big.
They've mapped out where force incidents are concentrated and highlighted things like how often the initial problem was reported by 911 or a patrol officer.
To understand where are police being summoned versus where are they patrolling and surveilling.
And what we've seen predominantly is that these are officer-initiated incidents.
That doesn't hold for all use of force incidents, but when it is a suspicious person listed as the problem, then most of them definitely were not initiated by a 911 call.
But that work got flipped on its head when MPD changed how much information they share publicly online about use of force incidents.
If we can't count on the consistency or the reliability of this so-called open government transparent data, then we can't trust it.
Things like whether force followed a 911 call were wiped away on the new online dashboard. MPD also stopped sharing whether someone resisted the officer and if they were injured.
You basically just have kind of a blanket story of police doing their job.
MPD says they made these changes because their technology was producing incorrect data.
It wasn't reliable.
Chief Brian O'Hara says updates to the newer site will continue to comply with court-mandated reforms. And part of that is adding back in a list of injuries resulting from force.
That's in progress, and hopefully we'll have that completed and available online very soon.
To me, just as a member of the public, seems like context that could really help the public understand what happened in these moments. Whether there were
Why does the public need to know what happened at 12:45 in the morning between some homeless fucking schizophrenic and two cops in some downtown desolate street? Why the fuck does the public need to know that? This is stupid. This is all that BLM shit. We want to know what happened in every police interaction. Well, let me tell you something, man. I've been around the block a little bit, man. Police interactions are 99% of the time between fucking people that you wouldn't want to deal with in real life. You wouldn't want to deal with these people. And there are times, too, and places where you wouldn't want to be at that moment. And a lot of them are fucking mundane as shit. Some fucking, yo, listen, man. I told this story before, man. This homeless guy used to hang out with all the dope fiends in the riffraff, around the corner from my house, because my house was my street was residential, and this Crossway Street was zoned for business. So all those were businesses on that street. They had a carryout over there and a liquor store and all that shit right there, and that used to be where people would congregate every night. I'm talking about every night. This one crackhead was a wheelchair-bound crackhead. He would shit on himself and pass out drunk in his wheelchair. And the other crackhead friends, they would call the ambulance. The ambulance would come over there. Police would come over there. Fire truck would come over there. You would come outside. You would think it was fucking 4th of July. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Or 12:45 at night. You got a fire truck, an ambulance, a couple of squad cars. And all the cops are standing around talking, laughing, and joking. The EMTs are wiping his ass. And the fire trucks just sitting there, and the fire trucks just milling around. Firefighters just milling around. Because some goddamn drunk fucking dope fiend shitted on himself for the fucking 75th night in a row in his wheelchair. That's what cops do, man. A lot of what cops do is shit like that. And this guy's just looking at her like, yo, what the fuck is this bitch talking about?
Available online very soon.
To me, just as a member of the public, seems like context that could really help the public understand what happened in these moments. Whether they're required in the settlement agreement or not, why remove it?
I don't think there was any intention on anyone's part to do anything except do what MDHR and the court was addressing us to do. And we can absolutely look at making more information available if that's something that people actually want. But the heaviest lift now is figuring out how do we get the technology in place to capture all of the things that we need to capture.
Now, the chief says when those incidents happen where officers use force, MPD is actually collecting more detail than ever, even though they're currently publishing less. Now, that additional detail is still considered public information.
Yo, she literally looked like Velma. Is this Velma? I don't know who she looked like. She looked like a doll of it. Who the fuck? She doesn't look real. This girl doesn't look real. This girl doesn't look real, man. She looked like she's like 13 years old or some shit. What is this fucking bring your kid to work day at the news station?
Officers use force, MPD is actually collecting more detail than ever, even though they're currently publishing less. Now, that additional detail is still considered public information, meaning you can request a copy, but it can take months to get a response. I also reached out to the independent monitor overseeing court-ordered reforms at MPD. The president of that organization, Effective Law Enforcement for All, tells me they cannot comment on this issue. And guys, I also got a link MPD provided where anyone can provide comment and feedback on this.
Renee, man. Do your thing, Renee, man. Don't let them tell you. Good things come in small packages. That's what a little person told me one time. They said good things come in small packages.
This and other ongoing reforms, that and much more of the stories over on KSTP.com. Thanks for letting us know.
Seems like the chief is open to sharing more, though. Do you get that impression?
I do. It sounds like a technology issue, but again, it's a little unclear at the end of the day what all is going to be added back into the dashboard as some of the stuff that was removed isn't required to be there.
Okay.
Thank you,
It's
Renee.
a who gives a fuck. Like, no one gives a fuck. Y'all don't even give a fuck, for real.
Society perspective. How do we do?
Y'all don't even give a fuck, man. Let's keep it a buck, man. Y'all don't give a fuck about what's happening to no goddamn criminals, man. Y'all just virtue signaled and just heard that it was something that you could like get fucking white, can cleanse your white guilt for a bit.
Well, hundreds of protesters today marching in Manhattan demanding the release of a Columbia University grad student taken into custody by ICE over the weekend. Well, tonight, a federal judge temporarily blocking the deportation of Mahmoud Khalil, a pro-Palestinian activist. Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon live in Harlem tonight with the latest. Sonia?
Sade, tonight many people who agree with Mahmoud Khalil are finding common ground with many who don't support his views on Israel and Gaza. There is a shared sense of outrage that a green card holder could be detained by ICE and deemed dangerous over political speech. And tonight together they are asking, how is it that he is now a political prisoner in America?
We are not afraid of the Trump administration.
Marching to Union Square tonight, hundreds of people calling for Mahmoud Khalil's immediate release from immigration detention. The Columbia grad student, set to formally graduate in May, is currently being held at.
Oh God! So he's gonna be the poster child for the anti-immigrant movement. Well, go back to your listen, man. Anybody from the Middle East coming to a Western nation trying to fix some shit should burn in hell. I truly mean that. If you're from the fucking Middle East and you're coming and you bringing your leadership skills to a Western nation to try to fix some shit, you should rot in fucking hell. Because the Middle East needs people like you to come fix the Middle East. If Allah gave you all these great leadership qualities and this great ability to, organize and lead and solve problems, the reason he put you in a goddamn desert demon body, because he wants you to go fix the fucking desert. We don't need you over here in the West, man. Go fix the fucking desert, you desert demon. Press 1. Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat.
At a facility in Louisiana. A judge today blocked Khalil's removal, setting a hearing for Wednesday at the very federal courthouse where the protesters began their march this afternoon. Outside the main Columbia campus today, a small group protested Khalil's detention Saturday night at the university-owned building where he lives, while the White House posted a message calling him a radical foreign pro-Hamas student, saying his arrest is the first of many to come.
I am here today because I know in my bones as an American Jew how dangerous it is when the government starts abducting legal residents that they disagree with.
Outside Columbia's School of the Arts.
So she's a Jew and she's fighting for pro-Hamas. Okay, go.
It's abducting legal residents that they disagree with.
Outside Columbia's School of the Arts building early this evening, faculty and alumni, many of them Jewish, also gathered to send a message, both to Khalil.
I am mortified as an American, as a Jew, and as an alumnus of this institution that you have been taken into ICE custody.
And to the university.
President Armstrong, I am concerned that you may not have done enough to protect Mahmoud.
Khalil was a student negotiator last year when protesters camped out on campus. He was also at the Barnard College sit-in last week.
He was filmed participating in that sit-in or being present there, and as a result, various people tweeted, including one of our colleagues, directly at Marco Rubio asking for his arrest and deportation.
A social media post from Secretary Rubio also warned that green cards of Hamas supporters would be revoked so that they can be deported. Tonight, one of Khalil's attorneys tells ABC News Live the State Department seems to be invoking a broad and vague immigration authority, deeming him a national security threat, but that it can't use that to remove him over constitutionally protected speech.
This is a preposterous and dangerous extension of that authority, and is basically meant to remove spies, not individuals engaged in human rights activism.
Now, according to his attorney's court filings, the agents who detained Khalil were surprised that he showed them his green card, not a student visa, but that they took him anyway and didn't tell his wife where they were taking him. Tonight, Columbia University's acting president in a statement said any rumors that school leadership invited ICE to campus are not true, and that those federal agents need to produce a judicial warrant to enter any campus buildings.
Fuck that guy. I don't give a shit. Get him out of here. Get this guy out of here, man. Judge is blocking this shit.
A federal judge has blocked the deportation of a Palestinian activist and Columbia University graduate who was arrested by federal immigration agents in New York Saturday. Attorneys representing Mahmoud Khalil have filed a motion as well to transfer him back to New York after he was sent to an ICE processing center in Louisiana. The Department of Homeland Security says Khalil was arrested for violating President Trump's executive order banning anti-Semitism. Khalil, who helped lead pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia last year, has not been formally charged with a crime and is a permanent resident with a green card. The president took to Truth Social Monday and said Khalil's arrest was the first of many to come. CBS News correspondent Lily Luciano has been following this for us. So, Lily, what do we know about what led to the judge's decision to block his deportation?
So what we know is that Khalil's attorneys have, of course, filed a petition to fight that deportation. We know, according to multiple legal experts, attorneys, immigration attorneys I've talked to throughout the day today and starting yesterday, that this is extremely unprecedented. The government has not provided evidence that Khalil was in any way cooperating, working with Hamas. And I have not seen any statement that the government is alleging that he made in support of Hamas even. I've talked to multiple students, faculty members who are all very concerned about this being a violation of freedom of speech. There is certainly, I spent the day today in Columbia, at Columbia University, there's certainly a chilling effect. Technically speaking, what I know about this order or this block on the deportation, the purpose of it is so that the court here this federal court does not lose jurisdiction, because once somebody is deported, it's very hard to bring them back to the United States to face a legal process. And so what the goal is to maintain that jurisdiction in this federal court, where as anybody, especially somebody with a green card, somebody who is a permanent resident of the United States.
Fuck this guy, man. I'm tired. Fuck this guy, man. You're supposed to feel sorry for this guy, man. Salute to Andy Armour, man. He says, I watch cop videos every day. After watching a couple of videos earlier where law enforcement officers were dealing with complete psychopaths, I realized that we are all very fortunate that anyone wants to be a cop anymore. Thank you. Great point. Great point. Great point. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't want to be cops anymore because of all that shit. And that's been a problem. Let's see. Everybody hit that like button.
Is a monthly fun-filled experience.
Everybody hit that like button, man.
Racially profiled at the ages of 9 and 10. That's what two Chicago mothers say happened to their daughters while shopping in Chinatown.
Our Suzanne Lemagnon has been listening to their story and the lessons learned from the scary moments these two young girls say they endured.
For 10-year-old Malin Hall and 9-year-old Addison Willey, a trip to Chinatown is a monthly fun-filled experience.
My dad, my mom, my grandma, everybody has bought something from that store. My dad even bought a hat and a bowl from there.
But a recent visit to that store, AJ Housewares and Gifts on January 2nd, left the girls feeling anything but joy.
They started following us around the store.
Then an employee accused Malin of shoplifting a keychain.
I had picked up one that I really liked, but then I put it back because I didn't really want it anymore. And I had just put it on a random shelf because I didn't know where to put it. She was like, empty your pockets out, empty your pockets out. And then I showed.
Let me see.
AJ Housewares and Gifts on January 2nd left the girls feeling anything but joy.
They started following us around the store.
Then an employee accused Malin of shoplifting a keychain.
I had picked up one that I really liked, but then I put it back because I didn't really want it anymore. And
Listen, man, these seem like nice girls, but usually in the store when they accuse you of stealing, it's a reason, man. Very rarely would I'm a thief. I stole all growing up. I stole all growing up, and a lot of my buddies, not all of them, because a lot of my buddies were scared to steal. They were either good kids or they did other stuff. It wasn't their thing. But all my buddies that did steal, we weren't getting followed around and shit. Now, I don't know. Listen, especially Asian spots, man. Asian spots, little trinkets and stuff like that. I just listen. I'm just at the point where I want to live in reality again, man. I want to live in reality. Just like today, I was thinking, last night when they were talking about the police, when we were talking about Black Lives Matter, and all those black people were talking about how rough the police were. How many people did you see pulled over today? When you were out and about running your errands, picking your kids up from school, how many people did you see pulled over today? How many cars did you see pulled over, traffic stops, or maybe was some other, but the cops had the person pulled over and they were dealing with the person in some manner. How many times did you see that all day in your interactions? Shout out to Shut Up I Cook. She said, shut down immigration. I agree. How many times do you see that? Because we got to live in reality, man. We got to live in reality, man. The police interactions are not common. Going in the store, getting accused of stealing is not fucking common. That does not happen a lot. That's not something that happens a lot. You go into a store and the people accuse you of stealing something. That's something that may happen once in your life. It might not ever fucking happen. And I just wanted to say that because at this point in the story, because we got to deal with these stories with reality, man. And these seem like little nice girls, and they still could be nice girls. If one of them stole something, or one of them picked something up, or one of them, they still could be nice girls. Shout out to Alexander Barron. He says, ask me about the Haitian journalist I met in London last month. All right, man. When I drop the link, you can come on up and tell me about that, man. Shout out to Burr Moss. He said, "What's up? I hope you're doing good. Send a YouTube link to your email." All right, I'll get to that after this. So let's go ahead. Let's go back, man.
Fun-filled experience.
My dad, my mom, my grandma, everybody has bought something from that store. My dad even bought a hat and a bowl from there.
But a recent visit to that store, AJ Housewares and Gifts on January 2nd, left the girls feeling anything but joy.
They started following us around the store.
Then an employee accused Malin of shoplifting a keychain.
I had picked up one that I really liked, but then I put it back because I didn't really want it anymore. And I had just put it on a random shelf because I didn't know where to put it. She was like, empty your pockets out, empty your pockets out. And then I showed her multiple times.
So she put it on a random shelf because she didn't know where to put it. So basically they must have a problem with little kids stealing out of that store. They must have an issue. This might not even been about this girl. They must have an issue with little kids stealing out of this store, houseware and gifts. Maybe after school or whatever. Because as soon as these girls walked in, they probably were hawking them because other little kids steal from that store routinely. For them to be hawking you and notice that you picked up a keychain, and then when you came up, you didn't have it in your hand. You say you put it back on another shelf. Okay. On some random shelf. Okay, fine. I believe you. We'll go with that.
I had picked up one that I really liked, but then I put it back because I didn't really want it anymore. And I had just put it on a random shelf because I didn't know where to put it. She was like, empty your pockets out, empty your pockets out. And then I showed her multiple times because I had wore one of my mini bags that day. So I showed her inside my purse. I showed her inside my pockets.
Wale was also asked by the store employee to empty her pockets.
She put her hand on Madeline's back, and then it looked like she was guiding out the store on the cameras, but she actually was pushing her.
Trying to push her out?
Yeah, but she did. She had pushed me, and then she closed the door and locked it. But also when we were getting, they made us empty out our pockets and stuff.
How did that make you feel?
It made us feel really sad and just we weren't we didn't matter in that moment type of stuff because we are human too. And I feel like they didn't think, they just thought of.
Yeah, well, you gotta get over that feeling like you're not human because someone's accusing you of stealing. You gotta get over that. You're human, and I get it. Listen, I'm not saying, but your humanness shouldn't be on the line every time someone from another race you have a uncomfortable or unfortunate interaction with someone from another race. Your humanness should not always be the wager that's being placed at that moment. And these girls learned that somewhere. That, hey, my humanity is on the line every time there's an interaction, a tense interaction with a person from another race. But I think these girls, listen, I'm like this, even if they were stealing, it doesn't make me think that they could be bad kids. Little kids, these little kids, they could have done, and if they weren't, and the Asian people, were paranoid and made the wrong call, okay. I mean, what do you want to do? Like, how do we do this? Do we pass a bill? And do we name a bill after these girls? Amendment in the fucking Constitution? Like, what do we do? Do we shut the store down? Like, what do you want to do?
Out of our skin colors. It wasn't anybody in there that was the same color, and just like we weren't like we didn't matter in that moment type of stuff, because we are human too. And I feel like they didn't think, they just thought of our skin colors. It wasn't anybody in there that was the same color as me.
And that's why you feel you were singled out.
Not because you took the keychain. They may have seen you take the keychain off the shelf. They may have been watching you because the kids steal out of there. And then you put the keychain on a random shelf and walked up to the front and didn't have the keychain in your hand. That wasn't it. It seemed like logically, I mean, I'm not even trying to be like, logically, it seems like that was the reason they thought you had the keychain. Because you had it, and then you got to the front and you didn't have it. Like you said. But she's been told that everything's about her skin color, and she's young. And she's getting that not only just from her parents, she's getting that from fucking gangster rappers and hoe rappers and shit. All black people tell you that shit. The mailman, the fucking hairdresser, everybody gonna talk that shit. So she getting that from everywhere.
Wale's mother, Ashley Fuller, was right outside the store when the girls left, sobbing uncontrollably.
I thought someone hit them, or I just didn't understand what was going on. After I figured out what happened, I contacted the police.
A report was...
So she called the police. She called the police. She called the police on the Chinaman for accusing her kids of stealing. Okay. All right. At least she didn't call some nigga to come shoot up the place. Press 1. So yeah, man. Okay, she called the police. The black woman, she called the police though. You see that? They not scared of police after all, man. You supposed to have been terrified to call the police, man. And that put your kids in more danger, man. Calling the police put your kids in more danger than Chinaman, man. Sponsor the show, guys. Sponsor the show via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat. Excuse me. Yeah, I thought you hated race soldiers, man. Right, man.
Is the same color as me.
And that's why you feel you were singled out. Wale's mother, Ashley Fuller, was right outside the store when the girls left, sobbing uncontrollably.
I thought someone hit them, or I just didn't understand what was going on. After I figured out what happened, I contacted the police.
A report was filed for simple battery. No arrest was made. Soon after, Malin's mother arrived.
The bigger picture is that they was racially profiled. They was discriminated against. You placed your hands on my child. That is the bigger issue.
Both mothers reached out to 11th Ward Alderwoman Nicole Lee.
My heart just sank that it happened to them at all. And you know, my immediate reaction was, what can we do to address this?
Lee says she wants to work with other community leaders to create a training program for business owners to stop racial profiling.
There's no place for that in the 11th Ward or anywhere in the city of Chicago. And we want to make sure that people are...
She wants to what?
Lee.
My heart just sank that it happened to them at all. And you know, my immediate reaction was, what can we do to address this?
Lee says she wants to work with other community leaders to create a training program for business owners to stop racial profiling.
Bitch. No more training programs, no more diversity training, bitch. This was an unfortunate incident at the worst. We're moving on. A training program so every business in the area has to take a training program because this nondescript incident happened at this one fucking hole in the wall store. Fuck you, bitch. That's a horrible idea. That's a dreadful idea. That idea is so bad you should be shot. This woman should be shot for that idea. That's a terrible idea. That's a horrible idea. Some random incident that normally in a normal world, like we would never have to hear about this shit. And you want all the businesses in the area to take some goofy ass training that you and a bunch of fucking white female liberals are going to concoct out of your fucking pea-sized brains. And all it's going to do is make real fucking thieves and shit. All it's going to do is be used by real thieves. All it's going to be done is used by thieves. Real fucking thieves are going to use this shit. Hey, man, I ain't do nothing, man. Did y'all have y'all Murphy training, man? Hey, man, Jack, man, I ain't had nothing, man. Look, man, here it is, man. Here it is, man. Man, you can have this shit, man. Hey, man, I don't even want that shit. I got plenty of money, man. These people need to take diversity training, man. They ain't got diversity training, man. This woman is a nightmare.
Nicole Lee.
My heart just sank that it happened to them at all. And you know, my immediate reaction was, what can we do to address this?
Lee says she wants to work with other community leaders to create a training program for business owners to stop racial profiling.
There's no place for that in the 11th Ward or anywhere in the city of Chicago. And we want to make sure that people are educated about that.
Lee says as for AJ Housewares and Gifts,
I think that they acknowledge the mistake that they made at the end of the day. And I think they feel badly that this was the experience that they had. And they're keen on participating in the training.
The store echoed that sentiment in this statement. We deeply regret the harm caused by this incident. We take full responsibility. We will do better.
Alderwoman Lee wanted to right a wrong and show the girls they did matter and that Chinatown cares about them.
I cannot wait.
Lee had the girls at the helm of the 11th Ward float at the Lunar New Year Parade in Chinatown.
That?
Okay, like, yo, if there was a Democrat in office, they would have fucking they'd have got honored at the State of the Union address. Jesus.
Cares about them.
I cannot wait. Lee had the girls at the helm of the 11th Ward float at the Lunar New Year parade in Chinatown.
That was amazing. It was really fun.
Both Hall and Willay say this is a teachable moment for business owners, and something good can come out of what they've endured.
Nice to know that somebody is going to make a program for business owners to not profile people. I feel like now I'm protected, and I feel
Make a program for business owners to not profile people. They're not profiling. That's not a problem. Listen, man. How many of y'all go to stores? Who's here that's black that goes to stores and is getting profiled, man? I need to know, man, because I mean, we need to talk about it, man. If you're black and you're here, man, come on up, man. You being profiled, you got profiled, man. And listen, I look like a son, man. Shout out to Big Larry, man. Big Larry in the building. I never get profiled anywhere, ever. Ever. Never. I never get profiled anywhere, ever. I pre-order my food. I walk in the place. They got the food on the counter, on the orders. I go and grab my shit and walk out. Who's walking in stores and people are just following you and shit? Who's following some black person around the store now? Those aren't the videos we're seeing. The videos we're seeing, and I'm not attacking these little girls because they're being put up to this shit. But the videos we're seeing are not of black people being profiled, man. That's not the videos we're seeing. The videos we're seeing is of something else. Like, seriously, man, what's going on here, man? You walking through a store, it's some little fucking clerk just fucking tiptoeing behind you and shit. When are we seeing that?
Something good can come out of what they've endured.
nice to know that somebody is going to make a program for business owners to not profile people. I feel like now I'm protected, and I feel like justice has been served for us and other people that have went through the same thing. And I really hope this never happens again because this is a horrifying experience.
Suzanne Lemonnier, CBS News, Chicago.
We asked the girls if this experience will stop them from visiting Chinatown in the future. They told us it will not, and they will continue to enjoy all the community has to offer.
Okay, that's good. I mean, shit. Yeah, man, we're not seeing this whole notion that So this is Chicago. I mean, what the stories we're seeing out of Chicago, and like, they want us to think that, like, when black people go in stores, they just being followed around and turn around, the fucking clerk's right there, all in your face and shit. Really? I'm not seeing that. What's happening, man?
Local shops around here usually sign up 2 school kids only at a time. This is making a mountain out of a molehill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yo, I have on my Ag Nation bingo card tonight. I have Tiger putting a stray bullet through a kid's window. So I'm probably not gonna win tonight.
Nah, don't bank on it. But
people often falsely accused of shoplifting.
Like, this is absolutely insane. That this is the story they're peddling and shit. That, like, yeah,
I'll tell you what, 15 or 20 years ago, my colleague, he suffers from Asperger's. He was in W.H. Smith, and I think it was Smith, and this security guard followed him around and accused him of theft. So I wrote to Smith's, threatening to sue him, and he got 50 quid out of him eventually.
Yeah, man. That's good.
Well said, man.
It's a mountain out of a molehill, it's nothing.
These are
Walgreens is closing 5 of its stores on the south and southwest sides. They're located at 71st and Western, 91st and Commercial, 34th and King Drive, 71st and Jeffrey, and a store near 26th and Pulaski. In a statement, Walgreens blamed regulatory and reimbursement pressures to cover rent, staffing, and supplies. These closures are part of more than 1,200 planned nationwide in the next 3 years. Illinois Democrats representing the areas of closing say this decision prioritizes profits over people.
Did you hear what Ayanna Pressley said about that?
All right, it has been a tough year for pharmacies in Metro Detroit and around.
Nah, what she said about
it's racism. It's a racist conspiracy.
It's a shame that for the folks in that neighborhood that do need the pharmacy, it's a shame that these gentlemen can't, be civil. That they're not meant for civil society,
Right. The old people suffer. Salute to Gouch Malo. They said, here's something for a new keychain. Shout out to you, Gouch Malo.
New chain.
Far from Handsome says, why won't they talk about what sons are doing to tigers, which is way worse?
Hey, not all Sun men or Sun people get profiled. It's just the 9 and 10-year-old Sun girls. They get profiled.
Yeah. It's just insane, man, that they're feeding us this, man, this crap. Just straight up bullshit on a daily basis. Let me see what else is going on here, man.
I've just put a Presley link in the back chat.
A what?
Ayanna Presley, the link.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, we don't have to watch that.
Yo, Ike, real quick, man. That story I shared with you on Twitter, right? where Breda was killed by the king. It turns out he was a bouncer at that nightclub, right? So I'm gonna need. So it's an Umbrito club, right? This black bouncer opened fire, and a straight bullet hit this Umbrita. I'm gonna need Mark to help me understand what that brother, that bouncing brother, what was like. What did that look like for him? You know, maybe Mark can
Oh
help me
yeah,
understand.
where was that at?
All right, you go. It's all over the news in Chicago, so you go on Fox, WGN, ABC. I'm sure all of them are. But yeah. I
Nightclub
sent it
shooting.
to you, right?
Tell you this family is indeed devastated. Social media is also going abuzz with videos and also witness accounts of this horrible tragedy. Now, as you just mentioned, we spoke to the victim's boyfriend, who was actually right with her when this chaos erupted. Keep in mind, Stone Park police have identified the shooter as a security guard who worked inside of the nightclub. What will you and the entire family just miss most about her?
Just me, just her bothering me, basically. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna miss. And just her being with me. Because I'm not gonna see her no more. Like, it's not temporary, it's forever.
Joel Chimborazo is talking about his girlfriend of 5 years. She loved family, TikTok. He'd last seen her alive on the dance floor.
I feel something behind me, and I turn around, and I look, there's just two Hispanic dudes jumping a black dude.
Friday night, 21-year-old
Two
Zuma.
Hispanic dudes jumping a black dude. Oh, well then, hey man, anything that happens off of that, man, you shouldn't have jumped the black dude, man.
Maybe they caught on the song word.
Yeah, man, she was watching, man. If you see a black dude getting jumped and you don't step in, man, you're just as guilty as the people doing it.
Look, if you see a song word getting jumped and you don't run for the hills, maybe you deserve what come next.
No.
Around, and I look, there's just two Hispanic dudes jumping a black dude.
Friday night, 21-year-old Zuma Daniela Calderon Pacheco was with friends when this happened. An argument had broken out. The family says Stone Park police told them a security guard intervened and eventually fired his gun. Calderon Pacheco, who had nothing to do with the feud, was shot in the face and died.
An argument between.
Yeah, man, that's sad though. Like, all jokes aside, man.
Yeah.
If you a security guard, like you're with the place, they can sue the place, right?
Oh, they're gonna sue the place. They have to.
Yeah, like you shot the fucking girl.
I mean, are we gonna be shocked if this gentleman has an incredible rap sheet?
Oh,
some kind of like, I'm willing to bet, based on his reaction in this incident, he wasn't supposed to have that gun. You know what I mean?
Oh, they have him. They have his reaction.
Oh, I sent you the video of him opening fire, right? But the way he opened fire, it's evident that he had no business being near that gun. Like, I'm talking about, he's a felon. You could tell.
Okay.
The way he just like recklessly opened fire, right? I mean, you have to be retarded to open fire the way he did.
Let me see. Yeah.
And died.
An argument between two gentlemen. He got in the middle to break it up, and then about 5 or 6 other guys ended up jumping him.
The shooting happened here at Mansion Nightclub along West Lake Street in Stone Park. Jesse Morales was inside the club about 20 feet from the shooter. Morales says he also used to work security there.
We weren't allowed to have any type of concealment, any type of firearm, even if you did have a FOID card or not. We weren't even allowed to bring in pepper spray.
Security is really bad, very aggressive towards the people.
5 years ago, a 22-year-old was killed inside Mansion. Stone Park residents say the nightclub has been a sore spot in the neighborhood for years. Mansion Live on Instagram saying they're, quote, heartbroken by the incident and doing all they can supporting local authorities navigating this difficult time.
We constantly have police sirens going off in the early morning.
Inside the family's Little Village apartment, the walls packed with grieving family members surrounding an altar of roses and candles, also photos of their loved one taken too soon.
Yeah, I just feel like my life is going to be a little bit more quieter. Like, she would be either always behind me, following me, or texting me.
always behind me, following me.
Have they arrested him? Have they arrested him?
Huh?
Have they arrested him?
Yeah, they did. You know, mind you, this Umbrita right here, right? Apparently, she came from a little village. Now, if you remember what I told you about Little Village, it's the most violent Umbrito neighborhood in the city, right? This Umbrita queen survived those shitbag Umbritos, right? Only to be killed by the
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And we do know that this victim was the oldest of 5 children. She worked at Popeyes and was said to be very loving to all of those that were around her. Now, still, a lot of questions remain for the management of Mention nightclub in terms of their security practices and this specific security guard involved. Police have told us that a suspect is in custody. We also know that the family has started a GoFundMe account to seek donations for funeral arrangements. That's the later downtown. Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago.
Let's take a turn this afternoon.
Oh, man.
I mean, but this notion that if he was being jumped, right? This notion that anything after that is not his fault is fucking dumb.
Yeah. Definitely.
Hey, at least he didn't have a switch.
That's probably only because he was at work. That's probably the only reason he didn't have a switch is he was at work. Let's see. Dang.
Do you remember, really quick, and I'm sure you will because it was incredible, the one Sunman in the historic neighborhood of Bronzeville where they were outside a liquor store. He was working security and he grabbed his co-worker's pistol and opened fire. Remember that one?
Yeah. And down the street and hit the lady 2 blocks down.
Hit the lady 2 blocks down, Chief, and that was like a block away from like CPD headquarters.
Yeah, he was a felon. Yeah, he took the gun off of somebody else, right?
He took the gun off of his coworkers because he wasn't allowed to carry an actual. He had like a dummy pistol. First of all, what a suicidal act to carry a dummy pistol in Blackistan. You're gonna die. They're gonna kill you, dude. Second of all, the way he just pulled that pistol from his partner's waist, from his holster, and opened fire and hitting some random girl 2 blocks away. It's just typical. And like you always say, and you're a brilliant motherfucker. You said these Sun words are deleting people that never even laid eyes on them a day in their life.
Yeah. People that didn't know they existed. That woman was 2 blocks away and she didn't even know that incident was going on, and she died. Just like the Umbrito on Thanksgiving, sitting at the table with his family.
You know, speaking of, I wonder what those 2 Sun words that killed those 2 people are doing. How are they doing nowadays? You know, the one that killed the female in Bronzeville and the Thanksgiving Umbrito. I wonder how those brothers are doing nowadays. You know,
I tell you what, they ain't losing no sleep over it.
A family is opening up after their heartbreaking loss. A young woman was shot and killed inside of a nightclub. Just weeks ago, she turned 21. But instead of celebrating her loved ones tonight, are now planning her funeral. Jorge de Santiago joining us live now with much more on what this family has to say. Jorge?
Hey there, the family is still in disbelief that Zulma Daniela Calderon is gone. Now video of the incident is circulating social media while her loved ones are demanding answers and accountability from authorities. Take a look at the images. This is the moment members left the Cook County Medical Examiner's office after identifying Zulma's body. Investigators say at 1:39 a.m. Saturday, a fight broke out inside Mansion Live nightclub. During that altercation, a security guard pulled out a gun and fired a single shot. hitting and killing the 21-year-old Chicago woman. The guard was taken into custody hours later, but after reviewing the case, detectives and the Cook County State's Attorney's Office decided to release him pending further investigation. Legal experts say firing a single gunshot and is inside a crowded nightclub carries serious consequences.
What the law requires for a security guard or anybody, is including police officers, to be able to use deadly force is to reasonably, that's the key here, reasonably believe that the guard is in grave danger of serious bodily harm or of death, or that another individual is in great danger of serious bodily threat or death.
I never thought something like this would happen to me and my family and part of Soma's family. I don't want to believe it, but it already happened, you know?
The nightclub, Mansion Live, released a statement expressing condolences and vowing to cooperate with authorities. They say, "We are devastated by the incident that took place last night at Mansion Live. Our deepest condolences go out to everyone affected by this tragedy, and we are fully cooperating with law enforcement during this difficult time." The family is now making final goodbye arrangements to say goodbye precisely to Sulma. Tonight, her family is calling for justice and demanding action against the nightclub while the investigation is still ongoing. Live outside Stone Park Police Department, Jorge de Santiago, NBC5 News. Back to you guys in studio.
Jorge, thank you.
Well, tonight,
Now, think about
investigators
that.
are looking into a fatal shooting at a suburban nightclub. They're now focused.
They could have at least shown a picture of the dude. Like, what the fuck?
His
You
face
got
is
a
all
picture
over
of him?
social media. Yeah, his face.
No,
He's in the video I
the
showed you live.
news.
His face is all over social media. Did you hear what they said about him being released without charging, pending further investigation?
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think the public can truly appreciate how unsafe we are. Right? He's on video. There's no doubt about it that he opened fire. Right? And they're gonna release him and grab him at a later date. The public is not safe with that somewhere walking around, knowing
Nah.
that he's cooked.
I'm trying to
That's
see. Here's the video now. I'm just watching the video now of him getting jumped.
yeah. You probably can't play it on your. They'll strike
Nah,
you
I'm
or
not
something.
gonna play it, but I'm looking at it. I'm gonna put it in the link.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, nah, that motherfucker is crazy. He had already gotten control of the situation when he shot.
Right. It's obvious from that video why that he wasn't supposed to have a pistol. He's possibly a
Nah,
felon. The
he
way he
had
opened fire.
already gotten.
Yeah.
He had
They're
already.
not even on him. They
Yeah,
were
he
like
had
beating
already
each other's
gotten.
ass.
Yeah, he had already gotten control of the situation. He just fired that random shot, and that was the only
That
shot he
was
fired.
It's just one shot.
yeah. That could have been his man's. But
It's murder.
our job is to de-escalate, not escalate. And he did a terrible job.
Also, you seen the video already.
Yeah, no. I was seeing it when you were explaining it to it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, look at the link I'm gonna put in the chat. You got to see the video. How reckless and how awfully sunny he behaved. You know, that is the epitome of lack of gratitude deferment. Like, yeah, do you want to shoot these dudes? Man, I don't even doubt for a second. However, should you? Maybe not. Now, maybe not in a crowded club. Hey, look, Biggie said it best, right? You got a gun up in your waist.
Yeah, please don't shoot up the place. Yeah. What do
Well,
any of
there's
you
also
other guys
the
have about this?
just the complete disregard for any and all human life. Just cannot be
Yeah.
understated.
All he saw was red. It seems all he saw was red. And now
And
that young
you can't
lady is
have
gone.
people like that out here. You got to put them
Well,
away.
well, again, KB, Cook County, Kim Fox County, even though she's gone, this is forever Kim Fox County, right? They released him. pending further evidence. I think they could conduct their investigation with him in the county. Maybe it's just me. He could sit in the county while they investigate, but you cannot put the public at risk like that.
Maybe if he's in jail, he starts snitching.
But the
Who
thing
gets
is, they try to get like the toughest Sun men, and they try to like balance it out, especially in certain areas. And they didn't know that he carries his pistol. He's just one of those guys. I carry my pistols, but it's in the car. When I'm in the club, it's a little different. Because again, our job is to de-escalate, not escalate. I want to be able to go the next morning and teach, and then see my son. That's my job.
Yeah, but I think this brother would hear you and say, "I ain't no
Fuck you.
bitch."
Yeah, I know. I mean, it had to be his man's. It had to be his man's because for him, without an instinct, he just shot him.
Well, I mean, but does it have to be his man's necessarily? We've seen
I don't think so.
we've seen
No.
senseless acts by these dudes on the regular.
Sometimes, I hate to say it, sometimes you'll have that security. They want some of that action. They're like, fuck it. And it just triggers. I've had coworkers that be like, let's fuck up somebody tonight. I'm like, yo, no, man. Like, it's not,
Yeah.
tonight's not
Well,
the night.
right. Well, with that said, bro, with that said, Mark, there's a young lady that passed away now from this dude wanting
Yeah.
that action.
Sad.
Statistically,
when it comes to educators in America, black men are one of the least represented groups, even in Detroit, where most of the student body is.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Salute to Eric Assoc Nation Hall of Famer coming through once again. Shout out to you, Eric. Shout out to Aster J, man. He says another program to funnel money to some corrupt politicians. He's talking about that training shop owners to not profile black people. And black people is the ones that's going to be stealing out your fucking store.
When it comes to educators in America, black men are one of the least represented groups. Even in Detroit, where most of the student body is black, most of the teachers are not. We traveled to a city where a group there is not only encouraging the teachers they have, but finding ways to lift up young people who help fill the gaps, becoming the next generation of black male educators.
Yikes. And if we're talking about statistically, it does affect African Americans more than any other demographic.
They know that when they come into my class, they're going to learn something new. They don't have to ever ask me, like, what are we learning today? What are we doing today?
When we're working together one-on-one, when it's a group thing, that we practice these methods.
And I knew that there was a lack of mathematical and scientific knowledge of our African American youth, specifically with black boys. So I wanted to make sure that, I gave back the importance of having a math and science background. And I also wanted to give back to my community as I grew up in the Detroit public school system, kindergarten through 12th grade, where it's always important to have a strong foundation in terms of relationship before you even get into any kind of content or anything like that. Because once you get that relationship, the kids look at it like anything is possible.
How did that make you feel when you and your father ended up saying some stuff that y'all didn't really, shouldn't have had no business saying?
Helping increase in diversity can help people feel like they belong there. And I think it's also valuable for our students to see a teaching staff that looks like them. If you don't have another black male or someone that's had a similar experience to you, you may not feel supported or you may not just enjoy what you're doing. When you think about why the number of black males in the profession is declining, I think there's a number of reasons that may explain that. On average, black males don't achieve or do as well in schools as students as their counterparts.
That's the first one. But I think black males know that black males are in schools, and black males are the biggest factor in the school. And we know that, dealing with black males is pain in the ass.
Yeah. They need
They
tutors.
actually,
They need tutors 24/7. They need tutors to wake them up in the morning and to get them to brush their teeth and, you know, do their homework at a certain time. They need somebody. They need an overseer at any given moment.
and they think
They
it's as
don't
simple
respect.
as just having all son men teachers. Then
Yeah,
then they will
and to stay as a black man like every fucking 15 seconds.
Yeah, the respect. Yeah, the respect that they'll respect the white man, Chinese man more than they'll respect you. Yeah, black
Hell
dudes not
yeah,
gonna
you're a
respect you.
threat. You're a threat.
Yeah, they don't.
Especially, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just saying, man, they'll look at you as a threat, especially whenever it comes to them not getting their way. You know, for one small moment in the radar, and all of a sudden you're the enemy. It's like you gotta sit here and, pacify them, but there's like a 15-year-old kid.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
I got 90, 98 sons in my school and all umbritos. Only the
Oh,
sons are acting the fool.
hey, the burritos. See, as a son, man, when you're dealing with burritos, it's they look at what you're saying as gospel. They really do, because I don't
That's
know.
why I have no problem. I have no
No, they
problem with the
shouldn't have any
umbrito
problem.
kids.
Even whenever you got to get loud and strict, they're gonna look at you and they're gonna respect you because they're gonna be like, "Oh wow, you're being real with me right now." Shit, try that with a son, man, if you want. They'll show you the
you
Nope.
gotta
knife
look
that
over
they're
your
gonna use.
shoulder. You gotta look
Yeah.
over your shoulder when you walk into your car that evening, man. If you get to it with the sun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it ain't even for the sun man. The sun man can call somebody to come fucking fuck you up and shit.
Parents and uncle and shit.
Yeah, yeah. Some men ain't teaching because they know they not gonna get no respect. Be the least respected by other sun men, man.
Counterparts. So we find that black males are suspended at higher rates. They're placed in special education classes at higher rates. If you're not having an enjoyable experience in this space, why would you then want to go to a college and go through all of that to return back to a space that you didn't find enjoyable?
And those terms are,
when it comes to the teachers, nationally, there's 1.3% of black males in our schools. So I was noticing that I was the only black male educator in a district of 20 elementary schools. And so for me, it really sort of got me thinking around, like, why am I one of the few to go into this, to do this work? I began to think about what are some ways in which we can begin to shift this narrative. How do we begin to engage younger people, younger males into the profession? So we decided to let's think about starting a Black Male Educators Alliance. And I began to focus on Michigan. And so that sort of also helped to precipitate that sort of the idea and grow the idea in 2017. I was really hyper focused on getting quality teachers, but also really wanted to see if there's ways to engage the few black male teachers that are out there to come into my school. And so that worked. Like we were able to recruit a great number of black male teachers at the elementary level. When I went to the middle high school, the same thing happened. So from there, I began to think, there's something to this.
Like, we don't have many times to interact with other black male teachers. Like, you have the other teachers, but we're fighting a different fight. I feel like I'm a full-time father. Like, I'm a teacher first, right? Well, I'm like teacher third. I'm a father figure first
smashing
to
all the moms.
my two.
I mean, this is a full time. These niggas' moms ain't smashing dudes like this, man. Trust me.
Oh shit.
This ain't their type, man. These niggas, these niggas, these teachers' moms these niggas' moms, the nigga students hood rats and shit. They look at these dudes like lames, man. They might. I mean, you might. I'm not saying you can't never fuck a mom, but their moms ain't Keisha and fucking Nene ain't looking for these niggas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some nigga on the block and shit, man.
My 2 classes, and then all the other kids
But
who want
right. He said that they're a father figure, man. Because you got to make learning fun. One thing about niggas, man, you can't even just teach the regular curriculum. You gotta rap the alphabet and shit. Like you can't, yeah, man. You gotta make fucking math into a gangster movie and shit. Like, yo, if the drug dealer got 2 kilos and he give his underboss 1, how many does he have left? Like, you gotta do shit like, seriously, man.
Hey, man,
If you got a bunch, if you got a group of them, you got they because if it's too many of them, they gonna disrupt learning. You gotta make that shit fun.
Hey, I just remember when you were playing that, you were playing some old school stuff from like the 60s, and just the chaos going on in the classrooms. And, you know, there were all black male teachers. Oh, man, that shit hit so close to home. I'm like, when was times different? Like,
never.
It seems like 1962, 2025. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
Same drugs.
Same shit. Look at these niggas.
Father. Like, I'm a teacher first, right? Well, not I'm like teacher third. I'm a father figure first to my 2 classes, and then all the other kids who want to just engage with me.
What I've seen is, and I don't think that this is something only unique to Detroit, our students are experiencing.
And then they had that. A lot of these dudes is gay, man.
I know.
A lot of black teachers is gay, man.
God, I can't stand it. I hate that. I hate it.
Tonight is not our night.
Yeah,
I can admit that. No, it's a lot. It's a lot. I got coworkers, and I'm like you said, the drug thing. I don't do that. I try to break it down to the kids with math, with like basketball, like the perimeter shit like that. Because I like sports, so I try to break it down with sports, and they kind of like it the way I explain it to them.
Yeah, you can't just teach the regular curriculum to niggas.
No, you can't.
You gotta
special shit.
You gotta jazz it up.
Yeah, you gotta dumb it down, jazz it up. How the fuck you want with it? Cross it over. You gotta do all that shit. You gotta whatever works for your particular group.
Yeah, I do it that way, and then when I get evaluated, I have to do it the corporate way.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'll make a lot of Rick and Morty comparisons. That gets me engaged.
Yeah, man. This shit is sad, man. Wow.
Traumatizing challenges every single day outside of the times of 8 a.m. and 4 o'clock. It is beheld upon not just Black teachers, but all teachers who are in front of kids to see what is the context. What is the context of our kids' lives before they come to us and after they leave us?
Unfortunately, a lot of our kids, I would say their confidence is almost shattered by the time they reach 9th grade because of what they see on the media, what's covered in the media, and basically the negative connotation of being a Detroit public school student. So I think it's my job to build their confidence up for the whole year that I have them, and maybe even throughout the time they're in high school.
Acknowledging somebody's feelings, right? Raise your hand if you got feelings. And I know we, monitor a little bit.
So, BMEA's Youth Leadership Development Program, we implement an intergenerational mentor model that's really looking to increase the math and the literacy proficiency of our Black and brown boys in grades K through 5. And the way we actually get them to that space is really having them engage in issues that involve them. So we want to make sure that they are engaging in these leadership skills that they're going to have to utilize as they get older, being able to communicate, collaborate, and really being able to think creatively to solve those issues. Currently, we have 77 high school mentors within the Youth Leadership Development Program, and we have just under 250 elementary school mentees.
We believe our Youth Leadership Development Program has many benefits, but one is to help rebuild a pipeline of Black males interested in becoming teachers. And that program is an intergenerational model of mentoring in which you have site supervisors that serves as, mentors and supervisors to high school Black males who then work in the local elementary schools with Black boys.
How many of y'all been told, shut up and stay in the child's place? Are you a kid and you can't? Yeah.
They helped me with a lot of learning from my young age. I'm only 16 now, and I feel like what they're teaching me now, I can use in the near future.
Do y'all think our young guys want to hear that? Hey, so we gonna allow them that space?
Honestly, it's shifted me to change my career more towards teaching, and I feel like that's where I feel like it could lead me to, something there.
They help me grab my voice. Like, I know how to speak up for myself and speak up for others now, especially since I've been around the elementary students, and I've noticed, to recognize when something's wrong and kind of stand up for that in a way.
We just want to make sure that we want to position our high school mentors to understand the power that they have by simply being themselves, but also working towards being the best versions, because it impacts our elementary school scholars and they start mimicking a lot of those behaviors as well.
People are scared to talk about diversity if they're afraid that money is going to be taken away, federal dollars are going to be taken away, because federal dollars are important to schools, especially low-income schools. And so if folks are having initiatives that's focusing on getting more teachers of color, they're going to be less hesitant to do that if it's going to mean they're going to lose money, right? And so there's a concern around that. I hope, we can have a very open and honest conversation around why this is important. There's very clear research talks about the impact that Black teachers, Black male teachers have on white students as well.
It's a fun job to do, teaching. It's not really about the salary so much to say. And just seeing kids being inspired by, looking at me, being a product of this community to, give them the knowledge to say, okay, well, if he did it, I know I could do it too. And so it's just a joy.
What we're seeing now is everybody kind of wants a Black male teacher. Everybody kind of wants a Black teacher. We are invited, but we're not really welcome. Something is happening to the fact that we can't retain teachers, but we have to get them in the door and we have to put them in an environment where they can thrive.
God, Jesus Christ.
That's horse shit. If you nice, you nice. If you nice, you nice. They're not gonna fire you, DEI. If you're a good teacher, you're a good teacher, man.
Right. Breaking news, man. Breaking news, man. Did I just pass it up?
Did the rebels in the Congo take the capital?
Yeah, I haven't looked at that yet. Hold on. Boosie, there was a shooting at Boosie's club in Akron. You can see the footage online.
Did you cover those beheadings in the Congo?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Man.
Sick, man.
Hey, quick question. Did you see that member of InfoWars got shot and killed in Austin, Texas?
Yeah. I don't know. They say he was brutally murdered, but I didn't see how.
Okay. I don't know how. I thought it was shot and killed.
If he was brutally murdered, they're not giving you. They say he lived in a sunny neighborhood though. His apartment complex was in Sunistan, man. So yeah, Boosie. This is Akron. You think LeBron's gonna retweet, man, prayers for the victims?
Nah.
I mean, this is where he's from, though, man.
He's gonna party with Boosie.
I mean, Boosie didn't do nothing.
Yeah, I guess he has to wait on his Jewish handlers on what he can say about it. Commenting.
Boosie definitely did something.
Yeah, but I mean, in this one, man, on this one, he was just on stage performing, and somebody in the crowd shot, and 3 injured, 2 critically. Prayers. I know LeBron not gonna say nothing, but prayers to the victims, man. You know LeBron not gonna say nothing. But if a white man shot some black people somewhere, he would definitely say something about it, man. Or if this comes out that it was a white man, what if this is a white man? Then LeBron will say something about it.
World Star would have probably mentioned it.
If the victims are white, then it'd be like, retract statement. Crazy. It's also exhausting with these people, man.
And welcome back. We've been following the mystery now surrounding a University of Pittsburgh.
Breaking news tonight, Philadelphia police were investigating a series of separate shootings throughout the city. At least 6 people shot and wounded, and authorities say 2 of the incidents involve teenagers. It is Monday night, and the big story on Action News is a night of gunfire that has Philadelphia police searching for multiple suspects. Action News reporter Caroline Goggin is live from police headquarters with the very latest. Caroline.
Rick, earlier today, DA Larry Krasner said that overall violent crime here in Philadelphia is down about 12% compared to this time last year. But tonight we know that Philadelphia police are now investigating 4 shootings here in the city. It has been a violent night in several neighborhoods in the city of Philadelphia. 4 shootings injuring 6 people. 2 of them are teenagers. The first shooting happened in West Philadelphia around 6:30. Police say a 28-year-old man was shot in the head on 52nd Street and then ran to Haverford Ave. He was taken to the hospital in stable condition. The next shooting happened in Hunting Park around 7 o'clock on the 800 block of West Pike Street. There were 2 victims who are both in stable condition. A 14-year-old boy who was shot twice in the arm, and a 37-year-old man who was shot in the leg. Just minutes later, the third shooting happened in Parkside on Girard Ave, where a 15-year-old boy was shot in the arm, and a 20-year-old woman suffered a graze wound to the chest. Police say both are in stable condition. In North Philadelphia, the 4th shooting happened on the 3100 block of 22nd Street. Just after 8:15, police say a man was shot once in the lower abdomen. He was taken to Temple University Hospital in extremely critical condition. The violence comes just hours after Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner noted a decrease in crime.
When we look at shooting incidents, down 28.5%.
According to Philadelphia police data, there have been 37 homicides in the city so far this year. That is down 35% from this time last year. Krasner says it also marks a historic low.
And today, the city of Philadelphia has fewer homicides than we had on this date in the lowest year of the last 55 years. That is obviously encouraging. It is simply one more reason to try harder.
So he's going to win re-election.
Try harder to not shoot one another.
Yeah, and try harder when they get caught to not let them go.
The search is on for the suspects seen in this getaway car. They're accused of vandalizing a school in Montgomery County. Authorities say they spray painted Upper Moreland Elementary School and playground with various vulgarities, including swastikas. Action News reporter Sharifa Jackson is live at the school with more. Sharifa.
Yeah, Rick, this all happened over the weekend. That's when staff noticed that graffiti, that vandalism. Now, they were quick to clean it up, but parents say they're still very concerned.
I am deeply saddened and frustrated to share the act of vandalism.
This message went out Sunday, alerting parents and staff of the discovery of hateful vandalism at the Upper Moreland Elementary School and other properties nearby. One day later, crews spent the day cleaning up the mess, but remnants of the spray paint still could be seen on the playground equipment, garage doors, and this brick wall.
You're telling me an elementary school has vandalism? I can see that in the high school. I can see that in the middle school, but these are little kids.
School officials kept kept the message simple to parents, referring to the vandalism as hateful and racist language. Upper Moreland police were more specific, saying the images included swastikas and vulgar words and drawings. As investigators work to figure out who's responsible, they point to this red sedan captured on school surveillance cameras Saturday around midnight. This situation is making for difficult conversations for some parents.
To have that conversation is...
Why would you have to have it if they didn't see it?
Yeah, it's hilarious that they even mention it. they have to mention there were swastikas.
Right. It was already removed.
They could have just swept it under the rug.
They're looking for victimhood, though. This is a gift. The gift of victimhood.
Bunch of losers.
Wow. Wow.
Challenging and difficult, and shouldn't be something that anybody's faced with.
The school district reassured parents those responsible will be held accountable. Superintendent Dr. Sue Elliott issued a statement saying in part, quote, "This hate speech and vandalism do not represent who we are and want to be as a school district. We do not support these acts of hate and vandalism."
I was shocked and kind of caught off guard.
Some parents like Ashley Gratzky say they still have questions.
Is it safe here? Was it kids that did it? Like, why would they think it's okay to come to a school and do it?
Again, Upper Moreland Police, they continue to investigate. They want anyone who may have any idea who those suspects were and any information about that red sedan to contact them. We're live from Upper Moreland, Sharifa Jackson, Channel 6, Action News. Rick?
All right, Sharifa, thank you.
Wow. Wow.
And let me just point out that there's 10-year-olds in elementary school. And some of them commit carjackings or other petty crimes.
A single mom with a bright future.
Whatever it was that she needed and wanted, she pushed for it.
And an adorable 2-year-old daughter.
She was spunky. She was extremely independent, even at 2 years old.
But one dark winter morning, 6 bullets end their lives in an instant.
I pulled up to yellow tape in an entire police department.
What kind of monster guns down a mother and child in cold blood?
Ambushed and executed for $600.
Nashante was a single mom on a mission, and for over 2 years, Nashante didn't know who Chloe's biological dad was, but there were at least 2 men it possibly could be. But at age 26, Nashante was in a new committed relationship with an old friend, Darrell Green.
Darrell was wonderful when it came down to Nashante and Chloe.
Then early one February morning, Nashante prepares to bring Chloe to her mom's while her 16-year-old cousin Steve gets ready for school. Nashante carries Chloe to her car in the parking lot. As she's putting her daughter in the car seat, a figure approaches her from behind. Back in the townhouse, Steve flinches at the sound of 3 gunshots outside, followed by 3 more. Stephen runs to the window, peering onto a gruesome scene. Nashante is laying on the asphalt in a pool of blood. He charges outside and calls 911.
Don't cry. You have to stay strong for me so we can help her out. What is she doing? What is she not moving? She's not moving. Is she breathing? I can tell she's bloody all over. Hey, where's Chloe?
Stephen doesn't see Chloe at all.
We can do CPR. We can help her out. I'm about to walk you through it. All right, I need you to place one hand on her chest.
Stephen keeps up the valiant effort to save his aunt's life until EMTs arrive and take over. Meanwhile, Nashante's family members get word and rush to the scene. But when they arrive, it's too late.
They had a tarp over by the car, so I knew.
My house was circled by the yellow and white tape crime scene truck. I just took in the entire scene and kind of broke down in my car.
Cheryl realizes she has to pull herself together for the sake of her 2-year-old niece, Chloe. But what she learns next comes as a shock.
When I asked the police, where's Chloe? His response to me was, what baby?
As cops peer through the vehicle's back window, it's clear Chloe is not in her car seat.
I thought a kidnapping initially. That's what I thought. A whole lot of things went through my head.
But the tragic truth soon hits hard. An officer opens the car's back door, and there, lying on the floor, is little Chloe, shot twice, and like her mother, she's dead.
The officer who discovered Chloe, she couldn't even testify about it without crying.
But who was responsible for this horrifying scene?
There had to be random. It couldn't have been somebody that knew my sister that would do this to her.
The cold February morning changed everything. Now, with Nashante Davis and her daughter Chloe clearly murdered, the family grieves, including Nashante's boyfriend.
He's distraught. He's completely heartbroken. He lost two people that he really, really loved.
Investigators get to work tracking down the monster who committed this heinous double murder.
The investigators did look at a number of people. This was a very thorough investigation.
They zero in on this man, Deron Boswell Johnson.
They were childhood friends. They met in high school. They were in a relationship in high school, and they remained friends.
Investigators wondered, did that past relationship leave bad blood between Nashante and Deron?
Not until as recently, where I would say harassing phone calls, promises made, broken just to get past certain things.
Those certain things Deron wanted to get past included an uncomfortable secret. Nashante's inkling that he could be Chloe's father, an idea Deron didn't want to accept.
My sister did 2 home DNA tests, and he tampered with both of them. He falsified them. I'm believing having someone else take one or pouring water on one or something of that nature, and that led to the court's DNA test.
2 months before she and Chloe were murdered, the court-ordered paternity test confirmed Nashante's instinct. Deron was indeed Chloe's dad. But why would the results of the paternity test alone drive him to murder? Nashante's family suspects the answer is the age-old motive: money.
They ordered him to pay child support. At one point, it was a much higher amount. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe my sister said that she didn't want that amount, and they lowered it. And then they set the amount at, I believe, $600.
Investigators bring Deron in for questioning. He claims that he was home sleeping when Nashante and Chloe were gunned down.
During the interview, Deron denied so many times of any involvement in this case. He had denial after denial after denial.
Deron, look at me, man.
The interview goes on for hours, and he never budges from his story.
At no point did Deron ever ask to leave. Anytime he needed to use the bathroom, he was taken to the bathroom. Anytime he wanted a drink, we got him a drink. We sat down and ate pizza.
Finally, after 20 grueling hours, Deron makes a stunning admission. He did go see Nashante that fateful morning.
When she came out, she saw him, noticed, and it startled her. And she said, "What are you doing here?"
I want to talk about Chloe. Huh? I want to talk about the child support. Okay.
The more he talks, the more the cracks open and the truth pours out. At last, Deron tells detectives how his frustration over the court-ordered child support payment led him to do the unthinkable.
How many times did you shoot your baby's mom? How many times did you shoot her?
Deron is charged with first-degree murder. But there's still one crucial missing piece to the puzzle: the gun used to commit the murders.
So myself and Detective Cruz were able to obtain video that showed his vehicle entering the apartment complex, and it showed an individual exiting the driver's side of the vehicle and going to a dumpster and discarding something. We could surmise that that was Deron on the video.
After several grueling days spent rehashing that tragic morning, it didn't take long for a jury's verdict. Deron Boswell Johnson is found guilty.
It's like a weight being lifted to know that he wouldn't escape his actions and that he would suffer a consequence for his actions.
He's entitled to defense, and he got a defense. And we were entitled to justice, and we got justice.
What a real scumbag.
Welcome to True Crime News. We begin today with a single mom in Georgia, savagely murdered, discovered by her twin teenage daughters in the bathtub. And the clues will lead detectives to the most surprising places of all. The tragic end for Nikki Whitehead was the last chapter in a troubled, difficult life. She was literally born in prison. Her mother doing time for drug possession. Nikki was raised by her grandmother, who had a tough time keeping her on the straight and narrow.
She didn't have what you call a curfew. Nikki was able to come and go as she pretty much pleased.
And at only 17 years old, Nikki ended up pregnant with twins. She named them Tasmia and Jasmia, known as...
All right.
Oh, I remember this case. Horrible. Horrible. Do you remember it, Ak?
I don't remember that one.
Oh, it's horrible cases.
Thank you for being with us here tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm Lydia Fielder. Tonight, we've learned the name of the man who was shot to death moments after pulling up to a Nashville gas station. Our Sharon Dankwa has the new developments tonight. She talked to a witness who says she's now on high alert after seeing this all happen.
Police say a man had just pulled into this parking lot when he was shot and killed. Now, I spoke to a nearby employee who didn't want to go on camera, but said she called 911 moments after she heard gunshots.
These things happen so suddenly. You have to run, hide under a table, or probably under wherever you can hide.
This woman says one moment she was helping people at a local laundromat and the next hiding for her life.
At 1 p.m. this afternoon, there was a shooting here in this area, Limbar, that is very dangerous.
Metro Police say 2 cars pulled into this gas station parking lot on Limbar Drive. One of the cars pulled up to a gas pump, but before the man could get out, someone from the other car shot him several times.
I don't see who it is, because when I hear the shots, the thing that I do is to cover myself.
Metro Police say the man shot in his car was 24-year-old Cameron Dorsey. He later died at the hospital.
They start shooting without any fear, and they don't care if they affect innocent people. I feel very scared, very panicked.
And this isn't the first shooting she's witnessed in the same spot.
This is the second time that a shooting has occurred during the day.
Police say the other shooting this woman saw.
Jesus Christ. No one speaks fucking English, huh?
Police is mourning one of their own, Commander Anthony McLean, who oversaw the North Precinct, died from heart complications yesterday.
Yeah, our Jordan James has a closer look at how he's being remembered now.
Flowers now line the hood of a squad car in honor of Commander Anthony McLean. It shows a fraction of how much he meant to this community.
Commander McLean was the hero of North Nashville.
The cape of one of Nashville's guardians has come off.
It's kind of a heavy day in Nashville.
A rain ending after 27 years with Metro Police for Anthony McLean. He died Sunday after having a heart attack last month. McLean
That's a
devoted
big
much of his
dude.
time to community outreach initiatives.
Yeah, he this news guy used to be in Memphis. Now he moved over to Nashville.
Pastor Enoch Fuzz says McLean regularly attended neighborhood meetings at his church.
Whenever we saw him come in a meeting, it was like he came in with a camaraderie. You know, even if he was walking by himself, it looked like other folk were with him, that he was surrounded by the entire...
No shit, right?
Even if he was walking by himself, it looked like other folk were with him, that he was surrounded by the entire community.
These few small hands are making a big difference across Nashville this Thanksgiving.
Back in 2015, WSMV4 was with McLean as he and fellow officers received Thanksgiving dinner.
Guys work really hard all year long, and this job is one that requires us to work on holidays. Some of us will be here on Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, or whatnot. So it means a lot to know that somebody's thinking about it.
As a North Precinct commander, McLean was a mainstay at crime scenes and was always quick to defend the community's reputation.
It was an isolated incident, obviously. It's not something that's indicative
Yikes.
of this particular area. As you can see, the area is really nice. It's just an isolated incident.
Pride that this community will miss as they're left to mourn one of their own.
Our community lost a friend today. And he's the kind of friend that's going to be very hard to replace.
Funeral arrangements are still being made and are expected to be released in the coming days. In the meantime, this memorial has been set up behind me for anyone looking to pay respects. Reporting here in North Nashville, Jordan James, WSMV4.
You know, they might as well have said that he just makes excuses for the son crime.
Yeah, he gotta. I mean, he probably have to do that shit just to be a man of the community and cool. That the way they talked about him, like they wouldn't have talked about him if he wasn't doing that shit. Talked about him like he was a great man. You think if he was being tough on crime, they've been talking about him as a great man. What's that sheriff from Milwaukee? The one that got into it with Don Lemon? I forgot his name, man. Republican sheriff, man. They hated that motherfucker. What was his name? The sheriff in Milwaukee. Sheriff. I know y'all know. Somebody in this chat knows who. The sheriff in Milwaukee, the black Milwaukee sheriff that got into it with Don Lemon.
Not what's his name?
That black people hate so much.
Yeah. David.
Sheriff. Huh?
Davidson, isn't it?
Sheriff, yeah, with the cowboy hat, yeah. Sheriff Clark?
Yeah, David, yeah, Clark, yeah. Yeah, I went to school with a kid that called
David
Clark.
Yeah. Make sure you support the channel too, man.
I went to school with a kid with David Clark, but he was white though.
Yeah, David Clark. David Clark, man.
Yeah, he's full of shit. Fucking.
You don't like him?
Well, black conservatives, you know, the police can do no wrong. You know, it's always the same. Police can do no wrong.
I mean, like, the police shouldn't even be an issue, though. Like, no reasonable community even cares about the fucking police. Like, the police shouldn't even be on your mind. If you're a fucking normal community, press 1.
Ak, you really have led a sheltered life, I tell you. Do you see that confession the other week? That innocent bloke who confessed to murdering his father. Because that was a while ago. It was a while ago. This bloke reported his father. His father walked out. His elderly father walked out. And the dog came back alone. And he phoned the police. They ended up arresting him. They grilled him for about 20 hours until they confessed to murdering him. Then the old man turned up alive. There's loads of cases.
Well, I mean, that's an incident. That's an incident here or there. There's
loads of cases like that. Police brutality as well.
Well, no, there's not loads of cases like that.
There's loads of them. Loads of them.
After the police shooting of a black man, a second night of tense riots breaking out in Milwaukee last night, as you can see from that video. Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark is with us. And Sheriff, I know it's been a very tough 2 or 3 days. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. How did this all happen? Maybe you can just first talk us through what happened.
Well, first of all, I'm used to tough. I've been doing it for 38 years. Look, the social order in Milwaukee totally collapsed on Saturday night. And when the social order collapsed, tribal behavior takes over. When tribal behavior takes over, the law, the jungle replaces the rule of law. And that's why you end up with what you saw. Last night was a little better, not good enough for me. I won't be satisfied until these creeps crawl back into their hole so that the good law-abiding people that live in the Milwaukee ghetto can return to at least a calm quality of life.
Sheriff, we understand that the video that was recorded on the officer's body camera quite clearly shows what happened. Is that right?
Well, I haven't seen the video, but I did talk to the mayor yesterday, and he said he saw the video, and then it's clear that the suspect that the officer confronted was armed with a firearm. I noticed that people are leaving that out when they say police shot a man. They shot an armed individual this time, so it doesn't give the cop haters the high ground on this sort of thing. But look, that's not what causes riots anyway. What causes riots are failed liberal urban policies in these ghettos like Milwaukee. Milwaukee has inescapable poverty. We're like the 6th poorest city in America. They have failing public schools. The K-12 public school system here, there's only two school systems that are worse, Cleveland and Detroit. You have massive black unemployment. I think the black unemployment rate in Milwaukee is 32%. You have dysfunctional families. You have father-absent homes. You have questionable lifestyle choices. Those are the ingredients for a riot. And then a police shooting comes along and just acts as an igniter to an already volatile situation. Now, look, between Friday night and Saturday, 4 people were murdered in 9 separate shootings, and these same creeps, we didn't hear a peep from them, but all of a sudden, a law enforcement officer, fearing for his life reasonably, is confronted by an armed individual, and these people who exploit this thing, these cop haters, want to come out and riot. This was just a situation of opportunity for people to steal, to loot, and to rabble-rouse.
You know,
that's a great point he made right
Hey,
there.
this dude sounds like he watches your show.
For real.
Yeah, he. I mean, he is on fire.
Yeah, but I remember him during the 2020 time.
Yeah, he's on fire.
Masculinity.
Those are the ingredients for a riot. And then a police shooting comes along and just acts as an igniter to an already volatile situation. Now, look, between Friday night and Saturday, 4 people were murdered in 9 separate shootings, and these same creeps, we didn't hear a peep from them, but all of a sudden, a law enforcement officer, fearing for his life reasonably, is confronted by an armed individual, and these people who exploit this thing, these cop haters, want to come out and riot. This was just a situation of opportunity for people to steal, to loot, and to rabble-rouse.
You know, it's interesting why we always hear the bad stuff that goes on, and we're showing pictures of that now, Sheriff. I do know there were people that came out and were chanting for peace. They were carrying trash bags. They had brooms and shovels. They wanted to clean up. They must be just as sick of this as you are in law enforcement.
Well, those are the folks that I'm talking about, the overwhelming majority of good law-abiding people, you know, willing to pitch in. But you know what? They feel helpless at a time like this because this, you know, like I said, this tribal behavior takes over, and then you have this upheaval and this chaos. I'm from this city. I've been here my whole life. I feel for these individuals. Yeah, they might be poor. They might be uneducated, undereducated. They might be unemployed, but they're good law-abiding people. And they need help, but they're not getting it from this Democrat, liberal class of politicians who have reigned over this thing for decades. Like I said, the economic state of Milwaukee today wasn't like this when I was growing up as a kid here. There were plenty of opportunities. The schools were good. People were employed. This happened over time under their watch, pushing the growth of the welfare state. And now in Milwaukee, we have a growing underclass. And what you saw this weekend with those underclass behaviors on display.
Well, Sheriff, we hope very much that things are a lot quieter and calmer tonight, but we also thank you very much for taking...
That's how you handle yourself, man, as a sheriff, man. No nonsense. That's what's up, man.
He had the right kind of energy. I like it. Needs to be teaching a class on masculinity or some shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, got it. Senator Cory Booker testifying against fellow Senator Jeff Sessions at his hearing to be Attorney General. Watch this.
If one is to be Attorney General, they must be willing to continue the hallowed tradition in our country of fighting for justice for all. for equal justice, for civil rights. America needs an attorney general who is resolute
Oh my
and
God, this
determined
nigga's gonna
to
start
bend
crying.
the arc. Senator Sessions' record does not speak to that desire, intention, or will.
Senator Booker did not always
Pure
feel
rhetoric.
like
Cry
that.
baby
Words
bitch.
of
Can't
praise for
stand him.
Sessions previously. Roll tape.
I feel blessed and honored to have partnered with Senator Sessions in being the Senate sponsors of this important award. This award is one of the highest civilian honors our nation can bestow, and it is clearly fitting to give this tribute to the courageous foot soldiers.
Well, a courageous foot. Well, that is quite a turnaround. Sheriff David Clark is with us. Sheriff, what do you think Senator Booker is up to here?
Cook his ass.
Well, first of all, it was an embarrassment on the part of Senator Booker. He must have hit his head and suffered a case of amnesia, because not too long ago he was praising Senator Jeff Sessions. Senator Sessions is a good man. He's a fair man. He's a just man. He believes in justice for all. What Cory Booker and the Democrats have turned these nomination hearings into is a burning at the stake. Senator Booker said that, he started out, if you heard the beginning of it, talked about Senator Sessions being a friend of his and basically a good man. And then he turned around. He not only threw him under the bus, but he told the bus driver to back it up to make sure. This is the kind of stuff that's gone on for too long in Washington, D.C. You see good people have their reputation and character just destroyed with no foundation whatsoever, and it needs to stop.
Shout out to him, man. Oh, here go the Don Lemon thing right here.
3 officers dead, 3 wounded in Baton Rouge. A really tough day for Baton Rouge and for the
Don
country.
Lemon taking him on? No way.
Sheriff David Clark of Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. He is going to be speaking at the Republican convention tomorrow night. Sheriff, thank you very much.
He's
for that.
pissed already.
Today, I spoke to the heads of the sheriff department, the police department, and the state police down there, and they told us how their hearts were reeling. Their message is peace and coming together in the country.
He's like, man, there's too much estrogen
You don't
in the
believe
room.
that for 1 minute, do you?
That their message is?
Yeah.
That's what they said to me.
Look at him.
Yeah, I believe them. Of
Any
course I believe them
protests
when they say
over the deaths of these cops today in Baton Rouge?
I don't know that.
Any riots or protests over the police officers in Dallas, Texas?
What are you asking?
It's a pretty simple question.
I asked you what's your message to the people. Their message is one of peace. What is your message?
My message has been clear from day one, 2 years ago. This anti-cop sentiment from this hateful ideology called Black Lives Matter has fueled this rage against the American police officer. I predicted this 2 years ago. So what I want to know,
okay, Sheriff.
do I want to know?
With all due respect, do you know that this was because of that?
Yes, I do.
As a law enforcement officer?
I've been watching this for 2 years. I predicted this. This anti-police rhetoric sweeping the country has turned out some hateful things inside of people that are now playing themselves out on the American police officer. I want to know, with all of the black-on-black violence in the United States of America, by the way, when the tragedies happened in Louisiana and Minnesota, you know that 21 black people were murdered across the United States? Was there any reporting on that?
There was a black officer who was killed today, but
Was there any reporting on that?
Sheriff, please, let's just keep the volume down here. So I understand, and listen,
I'm looking at 3 dead cops this week,
Sheriff,
and I'm looking at 5 last year. You trying to tell me to keep it down?
Just please. We can keep it civil. But the message to people at home, I'm sure you want, is one.
Why is he talking to them like that? Why is he talking like, sir, keep it down, keep it down? Like, yo, he's not yelling. And sponsor the show. Sponsor this. Somebody sponsor the rest of the show, man. This guy. This is yeah, man. Keep it down, keep it down. Like, who the fuck are you talking to? Don's acting like his fucking hair's on fire or something. Like he's running around, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, that's that Democrat tactic. Control the narrative, Always tone police them, tell them that they're getting too loud whenever they get more stern. It's like this constant balance is just always throwing them off their game.
Yeah.
No different than how they do
Scott
Jennings.
Jennings.
Yeah, Scott
Yeah.
Jennings. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit is crazy. Like, if I wasn't watching this, I would be like, yo, is this guy like young? What the fuck?
When the tragedies happened in Louisiana and Minnesota, you know that 21 black people were murdered across the United States? Was there any reporting on that?
Black officer who was killed today, but
Was there any reporting on that?
Sheriff, please, let's just keep the volume down here. So I understand, and
Keep the
listen,
vibe,
I'm
bro.
looking at 3 dead cops this week,
Sheriff,
and I'm looking at 5 last year. You trying to tell me to keep it down?
Just please, if you'll just please, we can keep it civil. So, because with the message to people at home, I'm sure you want is one of civility.
He's so scared.
I wish you had that
This is
message of
ridiculous.
civility
Have a conversation
toward this
with you.
hateful ideology, these purveyors
You
of
don't know
hate.
what my message is.
That's
what I
what
want
they
to say
do.
to you is,
These
if you'll
people
let me get
preach
it, are you going to get a
vile
word in?
and virtue.
We'll be right
in the
back.
name
There's
of
no need for you to get a word in, Don. Just let him talk.
Yeah, of course. But we know the game.
That's why they fired him, I guess.
This is gaslighting. No, this ain't why they fired him. They fired him when the ratings got too bad. When this shit was,
Who wants to watch this?
Nobody.
At some point, they were watching it. At some point, they were watching it. As soon as they stopped, they got rid of his ass, just like Joy Reid. They'll put up with this shit as long as you get them ratings. This is disgusting, man. He's talking to this guy like he's out of control. This guy's so composed. He went to a commercial on his ass like, yeah, I gotta go.
We go to break, and we'll be right back. All I want to do is have a conversation. I can't have a conversation with you if we're both talking at the same time.
Yeah, but you're asking questions. Ask the question and shut the fuck up. That's how it works, Don. It's how it's always worked. Ask the question and shut the fuck up.
Same time. What it sounds like to me is that you're accusing me of violence and supporting a narrative that I'm not necessarily in support of. And if that's what you're accusing me of violence, then you can leave. That's not true. I don't support violence of any type against police officers, against anyone. So if you're accusing me of that, then you're welcome to leave. But if you want to have a conversation,
see, he doesn't want to have a call. He's like, you can leave.
Yeah.
That's a snake move.
Yeah. That's what they got to do, though. They're propagandists for reasons.
You can just leave. Hey, who asked the person to interview? Hey, man, you just want to leave? This shit is crazy.
conversation, I am more than willing to welcome a conversation with you. I don't disagree with you about there's a narrative across the country that could be harming police officers, but we don't know right now, as someone who's in law enforcement, if that was the actual cause of it. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Do we know that generally the American law enforcement officers are racist? Do we know this?
Go on.
I ask a question.
Is that American general law enforcement are racist?
Hard-ass move.
If you're insinuating that people are accusing or saying that law enforcement across this country as a whole are racist, then your assumption is wrong.
First of all, this whole anti-police rhetoric is based on a lie. There is no data, and you know this. There is no data, there is no research that proves any of that nonsense. None.
You'd have to be more specific about what data and what nonsense you're talking about.
That law enforcement officers treat black males different than white males in policing in these urban centers.
There is data that's.
There is not data.
No, the president.
The data that did come out by what's his name? What's that guy's name from Harvard? God damn, he's black dude, black professor with dreads.
Ronald, I forgot. He was at Dave Patrick's show too.
I can't remember nobody's name today. That's crazy.
Doesn't mean the data's good though. Doesn't mean the data's good though. This means that police are equal opportunity.
Salute, but he found that the only difference is in use of force. No difference in shooting or killing. It's only use of force, and we all know why that is. because motherfucking niggas don't know how to act. But there's no difference in whether they're gonna shoot you or not, if you're black or white. Shout out to Doug G, man. Doug G in the building. Long time no see. He says, "Hi, you want to be in the U.S. so bad? You waved the flag of the country you left. You left the need. You felt the need to ditch. Sanctuary cities deserve everything those worthy, deserving people inflict on them." So shout out to you, man. Shout out to Doug G, man. Doug G in the building.
He didn't ask me about
The
a
president
Haitian.
spoke about it.
You didn't ask me about a Haitian journalist.
Oh, all right. What about the Haitian journalist? What about it?
Well, he's I met him before, and he's whining about his Guardian was ripping off his work and that. And
You gotta speak English though. You gotta speak English though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, tell the London how to speak. And I said to him, why don't you go to the White House with Trump? And he's coming out with all this shit about Trump. He's a racist. He's a supremacist. And I mentioned about Hillary plundering Haiti, and he's saying Haiti is such a wonderful place because we kicked Napoleon and all stuff like that. It's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. They live in fantasy. They live in a fantasy world. These people. I met one last night. A white woman. I was.
They did kick Napoleon's ass. They did. That doesn't mean they know how to govern, though. I always criticize them for that.
Yeah, I was at a meeting last night, and there's this white journalist, Carol Cadwalader, and the shit she was coming out with about Trump. It's unbelievable. Anyway, I got to go to bed now. I'll catch you later.
All right, man.
Salute.
These urban
There
centers.
is data that's.
There is not data.
No, the president spoke about it. Cedric Alexander,
The president,
The president said so.
about it. He said it again the other day when he said black males are 2 times more likely to be shot by a law enforcement officer than white males. Don, that is a lie.
Yeah, that's a lie.
That is not a lie.
It is a lie.
Yes.
President can't lie.
The research
Show it to me then.
that we have from the Washington Post, that
The Washington
facilitated
Post
study,
debunked
there's
that
also
nonsense.
There's also research.
He also said
Sheriff,
this time.
There's also research.
He
from
continues.
A Harvard professor that also showed that black people are treated more aggressively by police officers.
No, you are
than other
wrong. in
That's
your
who he's talking
interpretation
about,
of
but
that
he's
Harvard study,
mixing it.
I read the study.
Yeah.
That's not what he said. He said he was
He
surprised.
said more aggressively because he knew he couldn't say they get shot twice as much. And the reason they get treated more aggressively is because they fucking niggas that get the type of nigga that's gonna get in an interaction with the police is some nigga off the street, and they gonna act aggressive.
And if a cop doesn't match the energy of the criminal to some extent, they're gonna get beat.
At some point too, like they never talk about how patient the cop is before he actually does that shit. Like the patience of Job that these cops show is never fucking given enough credit.
He was surprised to find that in shootings of the most severe in shootings that he found no evidence that there was a difference. Also, it should be noted that that study was a very small sampling of police departments across the country. Many people did not find it credible, but it is also interesting that in that research, he found that blacks were treated differently when it came to aggressive policing, but for the most egregious shootings, he found no difference. That's what that study showed.
Well, based on what? Just generally? Are we talking about high crime areas? Are we talking about police officers being under attack? Because let's go back to where this whole thing started in Ferguson, Missouri. The lie was hands up, don't shoot.
Lumping a whole bunch of things into one. If we can do one specific
That's
thing
where
and
this
stick to
whole
it,
phony movement
we'll get to
started.
it.
It started out as hands
You're
up, don't
talking about
shoot.
Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Okay. So if you want to, if you would need to speak to someone who is a member of Black Lives Matter about whether they have perpetrated a fraud on the American people. That's up to Black Lives Matter. That's not me. I'm neither a member of Black Lives Matter, I'm neither a supporter or someone who doesn't support them. I simply report on Black Lives Matter.
Do you condemn the anti-police rhetoric coming from this hateful ideology?
As a journalist sitting here on television, I don't have to condemn anything. That is something that you should ask other people around the country.
I condemn
their
them
jobs to condemn
just
that.
like I condemn the hateful ideology out of groups like the KKK. All right, I condemn it. There is no place in American discourse for that sort of vile, vitriolic hate coming out of this ideology. This has fueled and fanned the flames of this anger toward the American police officer. There's only one group in America, one time, that truly cares about the lives of Black people in these urban ghettos. And it's the American police officer who goes down there on a daily basis, puts their life on the line to protect who? Black people. So when you say we just want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation about the black-on-black crime, which kills more Black males, which is more
All lives matter?
any Black male in the United States than a law enforcement officer.
Sure. Yes, that's a different conversation. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. There's an issue when it comes to violence. Black on black crime it's crime. White people kill white people, tend to kill white people. Black people tend to kill black people.
Not in the numbers.
Here we go.
That is a different conversation than police brutality, and we're not having that conversation right now. Again, I want to be very clear with you. I condemn all violence of any type. Just for the record.
Was the situation between Mike Brown and Darren Wilson, was that police brutality?
But we're not talking about Mike
Yes
Brown
or no?
Oh my God, this
No,
dude's
if
such
you're
a
asking me,
fucking
if
puss.
you're asking me what the Justice Department showed, the Justice Department showed that it exonerated Officer Darren Wilson, and that the hands up, don't shoot narrative was a false narrative. That has been reported by
And
CNN
that
and by others.
was another phony report.
What does that
was
have to
debunked
do with Baton Rouge,
All right,
Louisiana?
because when you take in
What does that have
when
to
you
do
take
with
in
Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
rates of involvement in violent crime and crime in general, but violent crime, you're going to see that Black males are overrepresented. Overrepresented in terms of being involved in violent crime. That's going to mean more arrests. That's going to mean more people going to prison. This stuff has already been debunked.
Sure. That's a different conversation.
Every
One that
time,
many people
every
don't-
time
and one that
you
many-
don't have a response to something I say, you say
It's not that I don't have a response to you. Is that we're having two different conversations. I'm asking the questions here. You're answering the questions by
disingenuous
asking
thing to
questions
say.
about some other subject that we're not discussing.
We're talking
is
about
not a
this
conversation.
hateful ideology called Black Lives Matter. When you said you're not a member, you can't be a member. It's not an organization. There's no structure.
That's what
It
you're
is
talking
an
about. Listen,
ideology,
and I
and it is
understand,
a
and I
hateful
understand that you're very.
ideology.
I understand it's a very stressful time for you.
These individuals,
and Sheriff, we appreciate you coming on.
They preach vile and vitriol in the name of virtue.
Thank you, Sheriff. We appreciate it.
And he wants to pretend he doesn't support Black Lives Matter. That's all he's saying, is it's a bad group, and this is obviously a problem for Don Lemon.
Yeah, man. Jeez. Jesus Christ, man.
Frisco police say a man pointed a gun at an officer, forcing that officer to fatally shoot him. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. That incident happened Thursday night in a gated community. Police did not even confirm they had shot someone until today, much less that that person was dead. Tonight, they are releasing some details about what they say happened. Fox 4 David Centenry has the latest on the police shooting investigation. David.
Yeah, Stephen, Heather, it took law enforcement 4 days to confirm that someone was shot and two. Tonight, we are learning more information from Frisco Police Department as it talks about what led to the officer-involved shooting. Frisco Police Department says officers were serving felony warrants off Travis Street inside a gated community last Thursday. 30-year-old Kara Carper had a warrant for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So did 43-year-old Gregory Dylan Shepard, who also had a criminal mischief warrant. That evening, the department posted to social media saying there was an officer-involved shooting, but it did not say much. The post read, "No officers were injured." It did not mention if anyone else was hurt hurt. It was not until Monday, 4 days later, Texas Department of Public Safety identified Shepard as someone who was shot and killed. And it wasn't until Monday evening, Frisco PD shared a statement saying Shepard pointed a firearm at an officer. That officer drew his holstered weapon and shot Shepard.
You know, David, I think over the course of the past 10 to 15 years, law enforcement has learned a great deal about what to release or not to release.
Fox 4 spoke with criminologist Alex Del Carmen Monday afternoon before Frisco PD released critical details of the officer-involved shooting. Details of Shepard reportedly being armed, pointing a gun at an officer, and being killed by that officer. Del Carmen says legally, there's not a specific list of what information law enforcement agencies are required to release.
They're required to release that an event took place and provide some generalities related to the event, but nothing more than that.
Del Carmen, however, says generally, time is of the essence.
Police departments are of the thinking today that the sooner that they can release the information and the more information that can be revealed to the public after the incident, the better the police department will stand in front of that community.
A record search suggests both Carper and Shepard did not have a criminal history prior to these warrants being served. Carper could not be reached for comment tonight, but records show that she did post bond on Friday. That was a $100,000 bond. Fox 4 requested an interview from Frisco Police Department.
See, white people get it too, man. White people get it too. You point guns at cops, you get shot. It is what it is. Any final thoughts, guys, man?
Deport Mahmoud Khalil.
Yeah, definitely.
Agreed.
Same black time, same black channel. Out of here. Subscribe.